Today on the Patriot podcast, we will be looking at how unemployment has affected the young people in Nigeria and, of course, leadership roles. Welcome. My name is Dale. Today I have two gentlemen and we will be thrashing all these issues. If you just stick around, you will get to learn a thing or two. I have seated right here the founder and president of the Ugumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. And that is just one feather out of so many on his caps. We have Ambassador His Excellency Ugumba Uche Nwosu seated here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We also have our in-house analyst, always right here with us, and we're always glad to have him, Uchenna Simon, also known as Prince UC Ngawa. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I have a few statistics that I would like to share with you, Ambassador, before we get into the discussion. In 2010, the rate of unemployment in Nigeria was around 3.78%. As of 2022, it has risen to 40.6%. And within all these periods, we've got leaders who keep talking about the issue of unemployment in Nigeria. And there's always a promise, there's always somebody dedicating himself or herself to making sure that there's no unemployment. Where do you think we're getting it wrong?
Thank you. Before I start, I want to thank you for having me here, and then my friend, the brother who also invited me for this roundtable discussion. One, we look at unemployment itself, and we ask ourselves, what is unemployment? And why do we have unemployment among the youth more than the other age? Let's go with this saying that said, build the youth, build the country. And then when you destroy the youth, you're destroying the society or the country or the community or the village, wherever, even the family, wherever you put it. In Nigeria, you have mentioned it and you have said it all. We have, before now, we have leaders who promise a lot of things for young people, and they never came to fulfill their promises. Youths are seen as a tools to get into political offices, and then as a tool to fight political enemies during election, and after then they are forgotten. The highest thing they can give the young people are to give them keke and then give them motorbikes for them to go and start doing something. After the end of the day, the motorbikes and the keke will run down. They will not have anything to do. We are talking about showing the youth how to fish and not to be giving them fish. For me, I have in my leadership center, I've said this several times, that the earlier we start telling them and showing them and teaching them how to get that fish than giving them fish. Politicians and our leaders oftentimes come back to their constituencies. The next thing they do is to share money. And then when they share money, some youth will get 50,000, some 100,000, some 20,000, some 200,000. Once he leaves, even as he's giving them that money, they will find themselves to beer parlors. Some of them will go and eat suya, some of them will eat nkwabi, some of them will eat isiu, and then by the end of the day, they have nothing to eat. So the issue of unemployment, where we have gotten it wrong, is that our leaders make promises that they don't fulfill. And how do we tackle this issue? For our leaders to be sincere to themselves. One, we should make promises, and we should create avenue for the youth to be fully employed. Government cannot do it all. A society where we don't have much industries, where we don't have much companies operating in that society, be rest assured that you have unemployment. A society where you have most of our youth are not being patronized by government. I have a young boy who was able to develop a changeover machine that whenever light goes on, whenever light comes, the thing automatically will change to generator. When there is no light, it changed to generator. And this young boy has been there for years. Nobody to help him.
Wow.
We lack, our leaders lack the spirit of mentorship, the spirit of a role model to our young people. It's just me, my family, and me alone. So That's where we got it wrong. They make promises, they don't fulfill it. They make promises, they don't do it. They use the young people as a tool to get to their virus office. And once they get there, the rest becomes story.
Now, I'm looking at it from different angles. Prince, our guest here just mentioned, he said, youth are not patronized. So you have a case where I did my master's, I've graduated, and I see a job opportunity, but they're saying 12 years experience needed. So you see those kind of cases. Is it wrong of these organizations to require someone who has those years of experience before they can get that person employed? Now, where is the challenge? Is it the young person that have not trained himself enough, or the organizations are demanding too much?
Well, Ahmadu Bello once said that leadership is like a silk gown. When you fold this sleeve, the other sleeve unfolds itself.
Yeah.
So, for a leader in Nigeria, should rather be pitied than envied. So, first of all, government cannot give everybody job. That is, and I think His Excellency actually mentioned that.
That's right.
So government cannot give everybody job, and secondly, we have the leadership is faulty, and the followership as well is faulty. Over the years, it has been promises. I think in 2015, 1 million job was promised.
Yes.
And I don't think it was fulfilled. So things keep going on and on. And one thing I kept telling people about this unemployment aspect is that we have suddenly failed to be creative in our own way as young people.
Okay.
We have failed to do that, and there is a definition given to education in Nigeria, which really need to be looked into, because the purpose is misplaced. People, go to school simply because they have targeted, when I'm done, I'm gonna get a white-collar job where I will be working, where I will be earning salaries. Nobody will even think of, okay, even when I'm done with school, can I be doing other things while waiting for the job? So, you see, there is so much expectation. You're all right? They have seen people that are in government jobs, how they have houses, how they have cars and all. And the anticipation is, when I'm done with school, this is where I will start from. Okay?
Is it too flashy? Government work, is it too flashy?
It's too flashy.
Okay.
Because those properties that was acquired are not necessarily from the job itself.
Actually.
So I keep saying it, and but it got to a point that I cannot longer say it in closed doors. Civil service in this country is our problem.
How so?
Yes, civil servants in this country are our greatest problem.
Okay.
Any government, any administration that succeeds is if civil servants want you to succeed. And if they don't, they will frustrate the hell out of you. These are people that decide what happens. You can be president, you can be minister, but these people decide what happens. We have young people, we have representatives that actually want to come over here in the federal quota and help their people. But they get here, and this civil servant lure them into corruption.
Sometimes you hear them say, that's not how it's done, sir. They tell
exactly. These people don't know anything about how to padding. We just got that language recently. We don't know what is padding.
Yes.
But these civil servants are the ones. Let me not put it in quote. Some of these civil servants Do you understand? Are the one luring these politicians into all these corrupt practices. Some of them are from remote areas that doesn't even know how Abuja looks like. I have to be honest with you. Some House of Representatives doesn't even know how Abuja looks like. They only see it on TV. But when they get here, one of these civil servants will start to tell them how these things are done, that if you press here, do this, billions of naira will be out. And there they go. They will forget where they come from. They will stop, facing their constituency project and all. They will focus on how to make money, how to live in luxurious houses in Abuja. And from there they go, getting houses abroad.
Okay, Ambassador, let's talk a little bit. We cannot deny the fact that people buy offices now. People buy to get employment into the civil service. Let's narrow it down to the civil service, where young people are requested to pay large sums of money before they get job opportunities in the government. Have you had that experience before as a leadership institute, and what do you think about that?
Yes, I totally agree with my brother on the issue of civil servants. I was once a commissioner for land, and I was once a chief of staff to the governor of Imo State. I had experience while I was a commissioner for land. When His Excellency Owulerocha Sokrocha made it mandatory that the 27 local governments in Imo State, that every ward should produce 15 young people that will be employed into the civil service. To our greatest shock, then I was chief of staff. To our greatest shock, we heard that some of the traditional rulers and some of the president generals are collecting money from these people in order to put their names. And the worst part of it is that you see some of these traditional rulers and some of the PGs and some of these leaders putting 3 or 4, including their wives. So at the end of the day, you find out that those 15 coming might be from just 3 family alone.
Wow.
Not actually the entire, they're not actually showing character, showing this thing on all the people represented. Yes. So, as a commissioner for lands, there are something I noticed within the civil servants when I came in as a commissioner for land. I noticed that most of the things done there is based on who do you know. You find out that when you come to the ministry and you want to perfect your land papers, or you want to do your CFO, you have to know the PAMSEC or the director of land or the assistant director of land or the secretary to the commissioner. So by the time you come down, one day I was coming down my office and I saw a large crowd and said, what is it? They say, you are Honorable Commissioner, we've been trying to see what is the problem. They said they came to, you know what I did? I called the management meeting and I told them, no more. No more somebody coming to see the commissioner for land. You have to fill a file. They have to. I say, no. Once anybody comes, even though if they are 100, I will see them.
Awesome. They
say, no, yesterday you are Honorable Commissioner, you force it. This is not how they do it. I say, this is how I want to do it. Every commissioner has his own style.
Yes.
And what do? When I sit in my office and nobody is coming, I will go downstairs. I know if I'm not seeing people coming to my office to solve their problem, I know that something is happening. Maybe they are preventing them.
Yes.
I walk downstairs. I say, yes, who do you want to see? Come, you. Everybody to my office. And when they understood my own style of leadership, everybody aligned to my own style of leadership. And by the time I left Ministry of Lands in Imo State, the Ministry of Lands in Imo State were earning 5 million monthly. By the time I left, they were almost making up to 100 million.
Wow.
So we agree well that the problem is civil servants. A novice who was just appointed a commissioner or a minister does not know anything. In fact, once he lands, it is a civil servant who will tell him, like my brother said, this is how we do it, this is how we do it, we can do this, we can keep this for you, we can keep that for you. And if you are vulnerable, they will show you these people that came before you, they bought with this, they bought house in here, they will go and show you the beautiful places. By the time you know, you are falling to it. But if the civil servants can be sincere to themselves, and then a minister comes and say, put this here, you tell the minister, no sir, this will put us into trouble. If it's better for him to sack you and you tell the world,
Yeah.
this is why I was sacked
Awesome.
as a PAMSEC, as a director, or as even an assistant director in office, than to do that, that will be detrimental to the millions and millions of Nigerians. So they have a role to play. And again, how many times have we sent some of our civil servants for training?
Training.
Most of them have not even gone for training. Most of them, from year to year, they keep coming.
Your
You need
Excellency,
to-
Your Excellency, is it training that they will collect the money and not to go?
No, the problem
Ah.
now.
That's
the problem
another
now,
that's
the
another
problem
angle
now is
to
not
it.
giving
In
them
this
the money for
country,
training.
Yes.
A minister has knelt down and was begging a PAMSEC to allow him succeed.
Wow.
Dan Allah, Dan Anabi. Dan Allah, Dan Anabi.
Because
In
they could
this country.
frustrate the
Yes,
whole
the
work.
problem is that you don't give them money for training. The training, you pay for it, government pay for it, and allow them to go to training. The issue of leadership is the head. Once the head is wrong, the entire body is wrong. Once the head is correct, it's the head that carries the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Once the eyes is moving and is in the direction where he or she is going, the entire body follows. Once the nose can breathe, then the entire body will have life. So once the head there is bad, then the entire body will bad. The issue of PAMSECs, we have seen a situation where PAMSECs, you go to their account, you have billions in their own account.
Yeah.
We ask ourselves, a PAMSEC is richer than even the president. A PAMSEC is even richer than minister.
Yes.
He is just minister. He give minister, take. Minister will take. Take, minister, take, minister. But actually, you don't know what is happening. But I blame those ministers, like my brother said. I blame the minister. You have to, when you are in a position of leadership, you have to put your foot on the ground.
Now, let me share with you. I spoke with a director general from a particular state some time back, and he said that the PAMSECs and every other person told him, look, you are a young man, you don't understand how these things are done. You're just a little boy. So let us teach you how it is done. So you find out that even as the young people that have made it into the system, they are being groomed in a particular
No,
way.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
I was 34 when I
Yes.
became a deputy chief of staff. By the time I was 35, I was already a commissioner for land. I was the youngest commissioner for land in the history of Imo State. And when I came there, some of them would say, hey, this small boy, the whole Ministry of Land, the governor brought this small boy to handle it. But by the time I put my foot on the ground, and they said, this is how I want it, I was no more a small boy.
So it is what you decided
Yes,
to do.
it's the leader. It's leadership.
Yeah.
You don't say because you're small. Look, when a leadership is bestowed on you, like if you have a president that is 30 years old and you see a man that is 100 years old, he is no more Alhaji Emeka, Alhaji Usman, or this. He is the president, and you duty on you, even though you are 120, to respect him.
the office.
So what you are respecting is the office. So if you are a young man and then you are appointed and the PAM, they will look at you and say you're a small boy, just be careful. Then you are not worth being in a leadership position. Leaders should be able to take a decision and take blame and put their feet on ground and say, this is how I want my office to run.
But are
And
we
then
are
that will
we
be
are
it.
we grooming the young people to be able to take over these positions? Let's look at it from the polytechnics to the universities. Are we seriously right now preparing them for these offices? Even in the civil service, how many people when if we have, let's say, the 60-year-olds leave, how many young people are going to fit into these offices and fit in well?
Yeah, well, those that want to learn are learning. Those that want to be mentored are mentored. You know, because I once told a friend that some of our young people, they are not looking for mentorship. They are looking for somebody that will solve their financial problems. Because there is no way you will come around me to mentor you.
Yes.
Then tomorrow you will call me on phone and say, my car broke down, I need tires. Do you understand?
Yes.
And when you ask them, they will tell you, hey, but sir, all these things are part of the mentorship.
Mentorship.
You have to take care of me. Do you understand?
Yes.
I don't believe
Mentee.
and that is what discourages some of these our elites, you know, the good elites, from mentoring some of our young people. That's why I said those that are ready to be mentored usually get it right. And those that are coming with their financial problem in the name of mentorship ends up not getting it.
Now, you said something earlier when you said the young people have failed to be creative. Okay, let me ask. Since you have a leadership institute, is that what you see out there? Have we failed to be creative, really?
I cannot actually say that totally they have failed to be creative.
Okay. Yeah.
We have
Some of them
Yeah.
actually.
some of them, like he said.
Yeah.
I have when I was the chief of staff in Imo State, I have a farm. I had a farm, and I still have that farm now. And then normally when I go back to my village, to my local government, some of these young people come out and I give them money. They will shout Ugumba, they will shout help me, and the thing my mind, my inside mind
Yes.
is
We'll be
sweeting
doing you
me.
Paulina.
Paulina, I'm happy they are helping me. So one day I told myself,
Yes.
how would you continue with this? So every time you come back,
Big
the same group
question.
of people. And I told them one day, I said, look, gentlemen, you have to get something to you for yourself.
Awesome.
Do you know this money I normally give to you? It comes from my farm. I said, come, all of you, come to where? They came, 10 of them. I took them to my farm. I said, this is where the money comes from. And I asked them, how many of you wants to be a farmer? One, they looked at me, say, in my language, say, Dede. Hi. I got nebu shock. So should I continue carrying? So after graduation,
Really?
what I should do is to start picking the physics of
Really?
of
Wow.
chicken. I say, oh, but I do it. Even as a chief
Wow.
of staff,
Wow.
I come there on weekends and stay in my farm. And I say, those of you who want to do it, go ahead. Some
Wow.
accepted, and some did accept. Those of them that accepted are doing very well now. The issue we have in this country is mentorship. Every young man that sees somebody who is into Yahoo, driving flashy cars,
Admire them.
wearing golds and this thing, wants to be that person to be his role model.
Yes.
But a organizer who is on the road, who will see somebody's money and pick it and keep it for the person to come back and pick it, is not their role model.
No, he's a foolish
He's
person.
a foolish person. So the problem we have is that we, the elders and the leaders, have not been able to tutor and mentor and be good role model to these young people. Not that they have not been, they have not accepted to be creative. Like I said, I told you in the beginning, I have another lady in my leadership center who, 2021, Blikisu, she read architecture and she had a baby, but she couldn't get a job. What she started with a scrap, condemned tires, condemned can waters, she's able to create some things with tables and everything with condemned tires. She was able to create table. And then we did our enterprise challenge. She came first.
Wow.
My colleagues, my partners in US, Inner Power, saw her and were excited. Today, they invited her to go and lecture over 300 students in Butler University in US. Now today, Bliki, an architect, not somebody who can design, not a carpenter, is now designing tables and some frames, and is selling it abroad. They are creative.
Wow.
Nigerian youths are not lazy. What they need is just that small push.
I
So that
was
they
going-
can excel.
I was going to ask you, Prince, do you think that at some point there are Nigerians who are choosy when it comes to the kind of job to do?
Their second name is Choosy. Hey, no. Their second name, some of our
Yes,
youths,
yeah.
their second name is like, just call them Choosy.
Yeah.
I know some people that they got them a job in FIRS. They turned it down.
Wow.
That if they don't get it in CBN or in NNPC, they will not be able to work.
And they still identified unemployed.
And these are people that are so privileged because of the status of their parents. They were able to get that.
Yeah.
They will just bring it, maybe place it, they say FRS car and you guys wasn't jiba. Do you understand?
Wow.
So this is the country where we find ourselves.
Yeah.
And for there are people as well that they are not that privileged, maybe probably middle class, as they are choosy as well. You cannot imagine getting somebody a job that might be giving them probably 80, 100,000. They will say they can't do it.
Yeah.
Then why would they do a job for such amount? But I encourage such people. If really you cannot do a job that will pay you 80 to 100,000, then get something doing. I have never, all my life, I have never written an application letter in my life to work anywhere. I have always worked for myself and myself. I have never ever written an application letter to any organization.
And when you were talking earlier, you talked about when young people say it has to be white collar, it has to be an office with an AC, and all of that. Then you find an opportunity that comes to be for them to be trained in different vocations. Then they are expecting at the end of the day there'll be some take home, maybe a brown envelope to go with, and when you don't give it, you invite them the second time, they don't show up, and they still consider themselves as unemployed youth.
Exactly. Now look at NYSC.
Yes.
Do you know if you make NYSC a voluntarily job, some people will come back and serve again. And that's how bad it appears.
Yes.
Some people will serve 1 year and maybe they tell them, do you want to serve again? You say, yes, I want to serve again. Because some of us are wired to just collect. And that's the problem. And that is where mentorship comes in.
Yeah.
But are they willing to be mentored?
Big question.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Are you willing to be mentored? I'm the one mentoring you. I'm even the one calling you. Hello, you did not come today. And you say, Kai, I cannot come. I don't have transport. I'm the one. I'm even the one reminding you.
Mentor, only the mentee.
Come, let me mentor you.
Yes.
So now he's the one mentoring
Yes.
me, telling me that he doesn't have money, that I should go and look for money for him to come over to be mentored.
I'm really wondering, Ambassador, if Nigerian youth really understand what mentorship is.
Most, I don't think they understand. Like I will always say, if they understand, I cannot see the reason why you see somebody because he drives a flashy car, he has a good clothes, he's wearing a good chain, he's throwing money in the public, and he becomes a mentor. As a graduate, you have two addresses. The first address is your certificate. The second address is when certificate is not working.
Wow.
Can you do a barbing salon? Can you do a hairdressing salon? Can you sell even recharge card to have something at least you are doing?
Yeah.
Mentorship is a thing of the mind.
Yeah.
Like my friend said, some I don't even want to be mentored. I give you an example again. There is this lady, the one amputee from Lagos. I saw her this thing on social media, and then I particularly went to Lagos. One of her legs was caught. She was carrying pure water with one hand, holding clutches with one hand.
Wow.
I was touched. I went to Lagos. I called her. I met with her. She said that she has been sleeping under the bridge. She has a baby. I told her, I am going to help you. But are you ready to make good use of this money and to allow my center to train you and tell you what to do with this money? He said, Oga, anything. I said, not anything. Are you ready? I said, I will call my friends. At the end of the day, both Lagos State government, when I posted her this thing on the media, we were able to contribute around 2.something million. We posted her this thing on social media. Lagos State government gave her house. It was a big story. Kogi State government gave her money. At the end of the day, she made more than 50 million. She bought her own house. Why I am talking about this?
Was she the lady that later opened a pure water factory?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
While I was talking about this lady is that she keep calling me. She called me one day and said, Daddy, I said, yeah, what is the problem? She said, that my husband that gave me pregnant wants to come back. I said, so what do you want? Do you want to? He said, no, whatever you tell me. I said, if she want to go back, you know. He said, no, Daddy, say, if you say yes, I said, I won't say yes for you to you. Do you want to go back? She said, no. I said, good. What else do you want to do? She said she wants to buy a house and then open a pure water. I said, okay, what you should do first? Do you have money to buy a house? She said, yes. She bought a house.
Wow.
She bought a one-story building. I said, have you bought the house? She said, yes. What else? She said she wants to open a pier. I said, don't go and rent a place. Use one of the rooms downstairs and open your pure water. She did it, and the day she was launching it, she was showing me the video. Say, Daddy, that's the person who want to be mentored.
Yes.
Some will have the money. Once they get the money, it's okay. Now you have the money. Come, let's mentor you how to use the money. They say, I beg, which kind?
Yes.
How would this man they call me? I beg. If you
don't help person, you don't help
I don't help person. Which one you will tell me how to make use of my money?
It's like Prince, you
Before
have
you
experienced
know-
this kind of people a lot.
Before you know, he will go and buy one car. Before you know, he will start
Honestly.
behaving
Yes,
as if
yes.
if you call him, he will get that voicemail.
Yes.
Like my friend said, are they ready to be mentored?
Yes.
You know, until our young people are ready to be mentored,
Honestly.
then the society will be better for them and me. We have blamed the leaders for so much. We can't keep blaming the leaders.
Now, I want us to look at a little angle to this. When we have young people that are part of, let me talk about the issue of the amnesty, for example. You have young people in the Niger Delta. They're already used to the government giving them something. Would we consider that an empowerment? You know, when we have bandits being, rescued and, trained, would we consider that as empowerment as well? Is that mentorship?
That is not mentorship.
Okay.
When you bring people and they drop their arm and you give them money, it's not mentorship. May his soul rest in peace. The late president Yaradua understand what mentorship is all about. The late Yaradua took thousands of them abroad. Some went and learned how to fly aeroplane. Some went to learn how to do some things that will better their life. And by the time they finish that training, you see Tamuno will come back dressed with suits. This is the same Tamuno that used to carry gun and say, go. Tamuno is dressing with his suit clean. Tamuno is now speaking, how are you? The same Tamuno will say, oh boy, waiting the shell. The same Tamuno is telling people, how are you?
Yeah.
That is
Mentorship.
training and
Yeah.
mentorship.
Yeah.
And when you train them, you necessarily don't need to take them abroad. Like some of the Boko Haram people, they were mentored and they were trained here. You don't necessarily to take them abroad. You train them, mentor them, and move them from that life they are living to a new life. If you give them, mentor them, and train them on tailoring, and you give them money, or you give them the tailoring machine and give them money to help them, they will follow. But once you bring them out and you give them money and they will say, Baba, you think you have mentored and trained them.
No.
You are lying, because tomorrow they will come with, if they are using AK, they will come
Yes.
with bazooka.
Yeah. Then we have, some of the leaders of these amnesty groups who seemingly, and I say that in quote, seemingly are mentoring other young people, to know their rights and all of that in the nation. Then we have, I'm saying this to connect it to a particular story which is trending right now in the media, where one of the kings, of amnesty in a particular part of the country is calling a particular tribe slaves. I don't want to tag anybody. So you have people that are in that position, that have young people following them, and then they utter such words, and we have young people following them as mentees.
I said it from the beginning.
Yes.
Know who is their mentor. Somebody who is into Yahoo is not my mentor. A corrupt politician is not my mentor. Even though you be a minister or a governor, you are not my mentor. I prefer to go to the market and see that mama that sells vegetable, but she's honest,
Yes,
to be
sir.
my mentor. I prefer to go to primary school and see that teacher that comes to school early and sees a student that is not behaving well and train that student is my mentor. If you like, have the whole money and say you are the most richest man, you are not my mentor. So young people should be able to choose who is their mentor.
Choice.
It's not that because somebody is influential, the person can do, and because no. Some mentors are people that mentor people to their grave. So I will not be a party to allow young people to get somebody who will mentor them to their grave. I want people who will mentor them to the sky, and after sky to heaven.
Friends, I want to go back to, because you seemingly have had a whole lot of, in quotes, mentees who come around and all of that. How have you been able to handle it the right way? Having young
How
people?
else will I handle it rather than the way I have said it?
Yes.
The issue is that those that want to learn will learn. And those that have ulterior motives will probably one day or the other surface and show themselves. So it's as simple as that. There are people that really want to learn from you. Like they see it as a big privilege
That's right.
that they were even able to assess you and
True.
have series of conversation that will lead to you mentoring them. So it's like that. So mine is that we cannot have a society where young people are not mentored. You know, like I was having a discussion with somebody, and I told him that, like in the southeast, southeast need a thorough political sensitization.
Okay.
Southeast has failed woefully in that regard.
Okay.
You cannot come to Southeast and see, a political leader that is mentoring young people in politics on how to go about politics. That is why
But don't you think
politics in the Southeast
that's
is
just
always violent.
one angle of the mentorship?
Because they always feel that political offices are like battle. You need to fight and get it. No, but like I said, they should always look at the North. North sees political offices as a game where you have to use your mind and be honest to people, and even know how to drag them closer to you. In North, yes, there is no election that doesn't involve money, but in the North, you use your mouth to get yourself there.
Now let me hold
But
you there.
in the Southeast,
Yes.
you use gun to get yourself there.
because Ambassador is a politician,
Yes.
and like I said at the beginning, you have a whole lot of feathers to your cap, and you are a politician. Does that sound familiar to you? That's how politics is done in the Southeast?
I will not accept totally.
Okay.
No, I am not actually saying it totally.
Yes.
But the same person you are asking
Yes.
was a victim.
I will not into that yet.
in politics differs from region.
Yes.
Like we have a Republican type of life in the Southeast,
Yes.
and then you in the North you have this traditional type of life, including the Southwest. Republican, I mean that when things wants to be discussed, and we say we are going to use this glass cup tomorrow. In the North, the traditional ruler will say to ga cup din now kuje kusharwa. In the Southeast, they will say this ihona copper kai manuta gesheji onyo bla geshaji agomini. You see the difference?
Okay.
Then, in the North,
I was going to ask
the
for the
traditional
translation
ruler,
of the Southeast.
the
What was the
traditional, I will let you
translation?
know.
Okay.
Gakop dinna kuje kusharwa.
Yes.
The traditional ruler has said, you should go and drink water.
Yeah.
And peacefully, they will drink water with it. They will be very happy. And then the traditional ruler will see it. He won't even interfere. In the Southeast, copper, ageji agumi. You see this cup? We're going to drink water with it tomorrow. Everybody will say, who will drink first? Which side would I drink from? Which side will I drink from? It calls for Republican way of life. They will say, okay, keep this cup. Nnamdi, tell us who will drink first. I will drink first, of course. Emeka, who will drink first? I will drink first. The traditional will say, okay, let us vote.
Okay.
You see the difference?
Yes.
They will now vote. Okay, Nnamdi is the person that will drink. Are you sure this vote went normal? You see the difference?
Yes.
Same thing goes to Southwest.
Yes.
They believe in hierarchy. They believe they have these traditional institution. So we as the politicians from Southeast, although I grew up in the North, all my life was in the North. I did my primary school, I did Hausa language, I did Arabic language in my JSS1, JSS2.
Oh, wow.
I did Hausa language in my secondary school. So all my life has been North. So I know, and I lived their life until I came back to the Southeast to do my university, that and part of my secondary school. Why I even went to Southeast, I came back from school one day from government secondary school, Gubio, and I told my uncle, who is the pastor, and they said, "Uncle, I can write your name in Arabic." He said Arabic. I said yes. Before he would say Jack, from this side, I wrote his name in Arabic.
Yeah.
The man, I thought the man was happy. The man went inside the room and called my mom, say, "I've been converted to Islam." The following month, my mom cried from that night till morning. That was how I was bundled and sent back to Southeast. Today, I see that my uncle. I say, "Uncle, you see, Arabic is not converted. Now you go to Dubai. Now you go to Egypt,
Funny
and
enough.
they speak Arab."
Yes.
He said that. He said, "Uche, I regret sending you back." So until I went back to Southeast to do my this, and I started learning their way of life.
Yeah.
We run a Republican type of politics in the Southeast, while the other side run their own type of. So totally, it's their way of life. But even though it's their way of life, like my brother said, time has come. You go to the north now. You look at Ashwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. You see the kind of mentorship. You see the kind of people from Femi to VP to governors he has mentored and they followed him. You go to the north, you look at Ahmad Bello, you see how his legacy, you look at Tafawa Balewa, you look at Zik, you say how many of our Southeasterners today are following the legacy of Zik?
Now I'm going to.
That's the problem.
Let me
we need to come back to the table.
Yeah.
To tell ourselves the truth and say, look, we need to have a leader who will be a pivot upon which all other leaders will revolve.
Now, since we're talking about unemployment and mentorship, and we've mentioned Southeast, let me just divert a little bit and permit me to do that on the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. When you mentioned Nnamdi, I said, okay, so you're already on track of my next question. What are your thoughts where we have a brother? I say a brother because he's a Nigerian as well. We have the Asari Dokubo telling the president not to release Nnamdi Kanu, and all of that. And then we know that Asari Dokubo has followership, has a whole lot of young people. Nnamdi Kanu does as well. So what do you think of his position, telling the president not to release Nnamdi
I don't
Kanu?
know what his position is, but if I'm in the shoe to advise Body to Asari, I will tell him that what we need now is peace. I don't know why he said that. I know him very well. We should ask for peace. And if you ask me, I will say based on the reconciliation and the new face we have now, who is Ahmed Aswaju Bola Tinubu, who is the president, we are seeing a new face. We are seeing somebody. In fact, I was telling my friend a few days ago, I said now we have a leader who wants to integrate all other geopolitical
That keeps talking about unity.
For the first time after 8 years, you have an Igbo man, the chief of naval staff. You have a Yoruba man holding a high position in the army. You have a Hausa man. You even have, the one that shook me was, you have somebody from the Middle Belt who's a Northern Christian.
So it's
the chief
surprising.
of defense staff, surprising.
Yes.
So what I should ask is that for the peace and for the unity Mr. President wants to create now, I think he should look into this Nnamdi Kanu issue and see some leaders he can release him to. And let there be peace in the Southeast. All we need is peace.
I totally agree with you, and that is where we wrap up today. And I hope that you have enjoyed every bit of today's discussion. We've had Ambassador His Excellency Ugomba Uche Nwosu. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and also we are so glad. Thank you so much, Uchenna Simon, aka Prince
My
UC
pleasure.
Gawa.
My pleasure.
Join us again next time for another episode of the program. My name is Dale.